Today is Tuesday, Parashat Vayigash. Very moving parasha when Yehuda pleads on behalf of Binyamin. Last week's parasha, the goblet of Yosef was found in the bag of Binyamin. It was all a whole strategy that Yosef did to bring them back, and now he's putting them to test. He's going to hold Binyamin back as a slave, and Yehuda pleads on behalf of Binyamin. And Yehuda, who was the one who had the idea of selling Yosef as a slave, is the one who now is willing to be a slave instead of Binyamin. And Yosef is no longer able to hold back the fact that he's their brother. Yehuda makes a very eloquent plea, and Yosef finally reveals himself to his brothers. They're very surprised, taken back, and very concerned because they had sold him as a slave. And Yosef tells them, no, don't be distressed. Actually, because Hashem sent me here. This whole thing of being sold to Egypt is just so that it was a blessing in disguise, so that later he would become the viceroy of Egypt, the second in command. And he tells them, look, there's going to be another 5 years of famine. Go back home and bring our father, Yaakov, and come back here to be in the land of Goshen. So he also tells them, on your way back, don't be on the way back, don't start arguing whose fault it is that I was sold here. Actually, it was a blessing in disguise, and just tell my father and everybody come back. So they come back to Yaakov. They tell him that Yosef is still alive, and he just has a hard time believing it. But the next pasuk says, "Vaydaberu elav et kol divrei Yosef." They spoke to him all the words of Yosef, asher diber alehem, that he spoke to them. Vayaret ha'agalot asher shalach Yosef laset oto. He saw the wagons that Yosef sent to bring him to Egypt. Vatehiru Yaakov avihem, and the spirit of Yaakov, their father, was revived. So what happens here? He saw the wagons and he was revived. So the wagons, actually the word agla or agalot in Hebrew has two meanings, either wagons or agla, which means a female calf. A female calf as a young calf, as a child of a cow. And the last subject of Torah that they were studying, Yaakov and Yosef, was about egla arufa, about the young female calf that was involved in a ceremony that was done when a corpse was found and nobody knows who was the murderer. So that was the last subject of Torah they learned together. When Yaakov saw that, he realized that yes, nobody else would have known that this is the last theme of Torah they had studied. And therefore, Yaakov became revived, and he understood, yes, that's true, Yosef is still alive. But Rashi brings another explanation to he was revived. He says that until that moment, for all the years that Yosef was not with Yaakov, the divine inspiration had left Yaakov. He no longer had prophecy all the time that Yosef was not there because of his sadness. And from this we learn a principle that divine inspiration can be found where there is simcha, where there is joy, where there is happiness. And when a person is sad, distressed, the divine inspiration, the prophecy sort of leaves him. And that's why we say also it's a great mitzvah to be always besimcha, and to do mitzvot besimcha, and to serve Hashem besimcha, because simcha and divine inspiration go hand in hand. But there is another meaning that I saw also, one of the Mfarshim, don't remember exactly who, but there was a Mfarsh that says, Vayaret ha'agalot, he saw the wagons. Now, at the inauguration of the Mishkan, the head of every tribe brought a offering to the Mishkan, very detailed. Karat kesef ahad, shloshim u'mea mishkala, mizrak echad kesef. Each one brought all these vessels and this gold and silver and offerings, and each one brought unique, each one the same, but each one brought his own. But when he came to the wagons to carry, it was not each person bringing a wagon for 12 wagons. It was 6 wagons. So there will always be 2 tribes coming together to bring that offering, to indicate the concept of unity and teamwork, so to speak. Not each person doing it on his own. And when Yaakov saw the Agalot, according to this, he saw what will happen in the building of the Mishkan, that there is unity and togetherness and people doing things together. He realized that the brothers also, and that there was togetherness between them, and that concept of unity that amongst us is something that brought a revival of his spirit. And the divine prophecy came back to him, whether it was because the simcha of knowing that Yosef was alive, or the idea that the hope that there is always, when we are biachad, when we're together, when we're united, there's always good things that happen. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.